Forget blogging and MySpace. If you really want to stay connected, there is a new service, and supposedly it is the next big thing. It's a name you can't forget. It's called Twitter.
My name is David Wiljohn, and I am a Twitter user. Well, I realized I was going to be moving and would also be working a lot. So I wasn't going to be able to talk to my friends as much as I'd like to, or hang out with them, or see them near as much as I was. So a buddy of mine who was using Twitter said, "Hey, you should get on Twitter. I think you'll like it." And so I did. And then kind of started getting more and more of my friends kind of looped into it. And that's that.
A good friend moved out to Colorado, actually. I'm here in Illinois. And decided that in order to stay in touch with friends, he would give Twitter a shot. And I figured, well, that's not going to work for him if I don't join up as well. And other friends had been doing Twitter for some time and had good things to say about it, so I thought at best I'd throw my hat in the ring and give it a try.
My name is Kristen. I've been using Twitter for 2 days. I was pressured into using Twitter because my husband's been using it for a while and his friends have been using it, and most importantly, we had friends move down to Boulder and we want to keep in touch with them. And the wife of the husband that got the job in Boulder, she finally signed up for it because it was more the group of guys that were doing it, and she did it just to keep in touch. So I figured I'd like to keep in touch with her also, so I decided to sign up for it 2 days ago.
My name is Mike Zeman, and I'm a former recovering user of Twitter. I stopped using Twitter about 6 to 8 weeks after I started using it.
So Twitter basically is,
Well, Twitter's kind of hard to explain, and people don't really understand it, I think. The way I describe it is it's like...
As far as I understand, Twitter is some type of, I don't know, it's like I really don't even understand quite what it is. I just know it works.
The latest cyber drug of choice is called Twitter, an addictive concoction of blogs, Google Maps, personal websites, and text messaging, all bottled into one network and delivered to users in real time.
Twitter is basically like you get out of it what you put in. So if you start talking and Twittering to your friends, it kind of starts getting them to do it more and more. The idea of what are you doing right now is, I think, a big kind of roadblock for Twitter, because that is what you're doing, but that's not the end goal, or that's not what you actually get out of it. The value is what your friends are doing. So since you're friends with other people, then you guys connect. You give them something, they give you something.
It is minutia, and I don't yet know whether it's different. This friend who moved away's Twitters still lend themselves to a little more of the banal for me.
Well, some tech critics call the network lame. They're even describing some of the users as twits. They say despite its popularity, most of the postings are banal. Like tonight, there was a posting from someone saying, "I'm just making a protein shaker waiting for my girlfriend to get out of the bath." And it certainly generates a question, do we need to know that much information about the people in our lives in 140 characters or less? Dana?
No, that's the answer, no.
And there were two kinds of people that sort of ruined it for me. The boring guy that Twitter's about nothing. So, if he's walking with his kids to a park, that's not necessarily something that I would Twitter, but he did it fairly frequently. And then there's the Twitter addict, who is a clever guy with a funny sense of humor, but Twitter's, 4 or 5 times an hour.
The art of Twittering. At coffee shop, I swear every computer here is a Mac. I think I like Boulder. Crazy B-Day party for Sean. I was the piñata stand, and they were using nunchucks. Okay, cool.
To some degree, it's made me feel like I have to find something to Twitter. More so, like I'll get a Twitter, it'll come through on my phone, and I'll think, oh, that's a good Twitter. I need to find a good Twitter, and I'll look around and try to look for a car wreck or something like that.
Doing our spring cleaning in the autumn, it's Dust Bunny Central under the bed.
A couple of the rules I would establish when using Twitter are to clearly establish a cap on how often you can Twitter. So maybe 1 to 2 per day. If that's the first one, and the second piece is that's if something interesting is going on. So it can't be about I'm eating an ice cream cone. It has to be, for example, for me, I Twittered when I saw a monk in a hot dog store. I found that pretty unusual.
The theory has been put out that Twitter sort of works like this phantom limb kind of thing, where by keeping minute to minute up to date with your friends, you sort of like have this sense that they're there, and when you see them, you're completely caught up, and it's as if these time-based boundaries kind of got like cut away.
It's like you just get these little you get these mental snapshots of what your friends are up to. I know where my buddy lives. I've been to his house, so I can totally picture him and his wife cleaning up, and it just gives you this little snippet, this little insight into what their day is, and that gives you this weird sixth sense of what they're up to. I don't think I think Twitter is going to enable a type of communication and relation that we don't even understand yet. I think it adds something that we don't really know what it is yet, but I think it is something that's interesting, and I think it's definitely going to get only bigger. It makes you want to talk to your friends more when you're Twittering, because you're kind of reminded of them, and you're kind of plugged into them all the time. So you're busy, you might not think about your friend who lives in another state who you haven't seen in a year and who you haven't talked to in 5 months. That person doesn't pop into your brain that much until you're like, holy crap, I haven't talked to them in 5 months, I should give them a call. Well, so what Twitter does is it's kind of like this constant reminder of who your friends are. It kind of is this little connection to their desk or whatever they're doing, or their cell phone, wherever they're out. They kind of remind you of what they're up to, and then that actually makes you want to call them.
Is it possible that making a cell phone call could soon become a thing of the past? And is it possible that the ever-popular MySpace, even blogging, are slowly being eaten by this thing called a Twitter?
People think, well, that sounds silly. Why don't you just pick up the phone and call them, or why don't you email them, or why don't you, But what they don't understand is Twitter doesn't replace any of the medias or the mediums that we're already using to communicate. So actually Twitter, I think, instigates more conversation because it's a constant reminder of your friends being there, and it makes you feel connected to them. So I've actually been talking to my friends, emailing, and actually phone calls, I think more because they're making me laugh. They're making me interested in their lives, just by kind of giving me that little update.